Good day, everyone. My name is Marvin Sage, and the topic that was assigned to me is the concept of scientific knowledge and trends in the reform in teaching science. So, before we proceed with the lesson, let us first discuss the objectives. First, analyze current global and local trends in science teaching reforms. Next, discuss how reforms are shifting the focus from rote learning to inquiry based and interdisciplinary approaches. Third is evaluate real world applications of these trends and how they impact classroom practices. So, those are the objectives. Now, let's begin. So, we are in an age where memorizing facts and definitions is no longer enough. Scientific knowledge today empowers individuals to think critically, solve problems, and engage meaningfully with the world. As educational systems around the globe strive to equip learners with 21st century skills, reforms in science teaching are emerging to make learning more dynamic, more relevant, and interdisciplinary among the students. So, to understand the change or how the reform has happened in teaching science or in science education, we should begin by revisiting what we mean by scientific knowledge and how it has evolved over time. So, as we can see on the slides, in the traditional times, scientific knowledge is viewed as a content heavy body of facts, which emphasis is on memorization. Before, science is taught promoting students to memorize the uh, periodic table, recall different formulas, and repeat definitions of different science concepts. So while those things form the foundational knowledge of students in science, it's not very relevant to the lives of the students, which is why a shift in the view of scientific knowledge has happened from a traditional perspective to a modern perspective. So nowadays, scientific knowledge um, is emphasized on conceptual understanding, application of the concepts learned into real life situations, and the application, of course, of the skills learned in science into real world situations as well. In the modern perspective, scientific knowledge involves scientific literacy, the science processes skills, and critical thinking. So, say for example, instead of just memorizing the photosynthesis formula, nowadays students are encouraged to, let's say, um, discuss how deforestation affects the carbon cycle and how it um, influences the occurrence of climate change. With this deeper understanding of what scientific knowledge entails, let us look how educational systems are adapting to nurture these competencies through the reform. So I have here some trends which are currently being utilized by different institutions in order to support the reforms in teaching science. So the first one is inquiry-based learning. So IBL, as we know it, encourages students to ask questions and draw their own conclusions through experiments. So rather than just being passive receiver of information, students are the one who actively explore scientific ideas. Now, this type of or this process of learning deepens student engagement and also fosters genuine curiosity from them. So another trend that I have here is the emphasis on socio-scientific issues. So nowadays, science is taught promoting students to discuss real world issues which involves the science and society. Say for example, pollution, climate change, and biotechnology. So this approach promotes argumentation, critical thinking, and ethical reasoning among the students. So another trend is the integration of technology. So we know it that nowadays digital tools like simulations, virtual labs, and artificial intelligence platforms are now utilized in teaching science. So, for example, we have the PhET simulation from the University of Colorado, wherein the use of this virtual lab allows students to explore different chemistry, physics, and biology concepts without the use of an actual laboratory. So they just need to use their computers in order to explore these different concepts. Another approach in teaching science nowadays is that it is now culturally responsive. So this approach respects and integrates students' cultural background into the learning process. So making science or science education more inclusive and meaningful for the student. So the last trend that I have here is that nowadays science is taught using an interdisciplinary approach, or as we know it, the STEAM approach. So the STEAM, or the STEAM, integrates science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics to reflect how disciplines or how these disciplines work together in real world problem solving. So those are some of the trends that are currently now used in reforming science education. Now, these trends are powerful. However, there should be a framework to be introduced in order to promote the widespread use of these trends all around the world. So now let's take a look at the different frameworks guiding science education reforms around the world. So I have here four. So the first one is the next generation science standard. So the NGSS, as we call it, is a US-based science education framework, which is a three-dimensional learning framework for science. So it's built around three pillars, which are the science and engineering practices, cross-cutting concepts, and disciplinary ideas. Now, under this framework, rather than just focusing on content delivery, it emphasizes what students can do with the knowledge that they learned in science. See, for example, how can they use this knowledge to experiment or to model or to explain real phenomena. So the next one or the next framework they have here is probably familiar to all of us, and it is the K to 12 curriculum. So the K to 12 curriculum uses the spiral progression approach in teaching science. So under this approach, topics are revisited and expanded upon and across grade levels. So, under this approach, it also promotes contextualized and inquiry-based learning, partnered or coupled with an emphasis on environmental assessments or environmental awareness and indigenous knowledge to make science concepts more meaningful and relevant to Filipino students. So, another framework that I have here is the OECD PISA framework for science, or the um, program for international student assessments. Now, the framework of PISA measures scientific literacy among students by their ability to explain scientific phenomenon, interpret data, and to apply science to real life situations. And lastly, we have the UNESCO's Education for Sustainable Development. So the UNESCO's ESD is a value-based science educations which aligns teach science teaching into the different sustainable development goals. So it empowers students to think critically about sustainability, ethics, and global challenges, which helps them to become not just learners but also makers of change or change makers. So these are some of the frameworks that um, have been used or introduced all throughout the world to support the reform. Now, the introduction of this framework all throughout the world has led to different implications to how a teacher, or particularly a science teacher, should handle his or her class. So, some of the implications that it has brought is in terms of the instructional strategies and the trainings for teachers. So, in terms of the instructional strategies, the teaching learning process in science has shifted from a teacher centered learning to a student centered learning. So, as we know it, when we say student centered learning, it is a type of teaching learning process wherein the students do most of the work and teachers acts as a facilitator only. Now, since this is the type of the strategy or the teaching strategy that is required by the science teaching reform, of course, collaborative and experiential approaches should be used. And lastly, um, in terms of assessments, teachers also needed to shift their assessment strategies to authentic ones, not just based on pen and paper. On the other hand, in terms of the training, as I have mentioned earlier, one of the trend of the science teaching reform is the use of technology and digital tools. So, in order to adapt to those changes or to that trend, teachers needed training on how the different technology and digital tools should be used in the teaching of science. So, another training that we need is when it comes to the design of inquiry based lessons. Since the teaching of science nowadays is more on the inquiry-based learning. And lastly, of course, students also needed training when it comes to teachers also needed training when it comes to evaluating students' performance beyond tests. So they needed training when it comes to assessing their students, not just based on pen and paper tests, but also based on their skills. So, to understand more with regards to the science teaching reforms, I have here a short video which is about the use of inquiry based learning in a certain school in Singapore. So, let us all watch it.
Inquiry-based learning has made our students more responsible in their learning. Instead of waiting for the teachers to give them answers, they investigate problems and they contribute their ideas, and from there they do research on their own ideas or whether their ideas are relevant to the scientific ideas, as in the theories. And that's when they will realize that scientific theories can be applied to their daily lives.
I learned about plants and how they help us. Like, for example, the aloe vera can also help to heal cuts and be made into medicines. We went to the butterfly enclosure to learn about the butterfly life cycle. I saw a lot of creepy caterpillars, and also I saw a lot of colorful butterflies. I don't get to see them every day. I have learned about heat transfer from the experiment of the hot Milo earlier. We learned about that metal is a good conductor of heat and ceramic materials are a poor conductor of heat.
ICT basically provides them different platforms in gathering data, doing their research. So it exposes them to the various modes of gathering information and analyzing them.
I like science because I can explore the world, and when I grow up, I want to be a scientist.
Okay, so these are the assessment questions. Number one, how do these trends in science education reform affect your current or future role as a science educator? Number two, what challenges or barriers might you face in implementing these reforms in your teaching context? And number three, how can culturally responsive and social scientific approaches make science more relevant to students? So that's it for my report. I hope you were able to learn something from my discussion. Thank you for your time.